Good morning. Good afternoon, students. So today we are going to discuss. Let me first check that you can listen me or no. So one of you, I will unmute so that I know that you can listen me or no. Hashim Dardas, you can listen me. Hashim,
Yes, sir.
everything is
Yes, sir. I
okay.
can listen.
So what is
Yes,
in my screen?
sounding clear.
You can see it here.
Yes, we can see everything, sir.
What are there?
A student carried out an investigation to find the effect of carbon dioxide.
Yes. All
An
right.
experiment.
The screen is okay, right? If no
Yeah.
problem, you can text me, okay?
All right, sir.
So students, we are going to discuss about, like in the last lecture, we discussed about this paper, right? So now we are going to discuss about, we will proceed our lecture with that question. But before going to that, let me revise the last lecture little bit, okay? So, this was our second question. A student carried out an investigation to find out the effect of carbon dioxide concentration on the rate of photosynthesis of an aquatic plant. Here, the student is actually finding the effect of carbon dioxide concentration on the rate of photosynthesis, right? So the apparatus that the student used is shown in figure 2.1. The student is advised to use a light meter position at the same distance. Okay. Now this is an important point. He was advised to use a light meter position at the same distance from the lamp, right? Is the pond plant. The student counted the number of bubble produced by the cut end of the stem, right? So we know already, like here is investigation, the effect of carbon dioxide concentration on the rate of photosynthesis. So it means if we are increasing carbon dioxide, right, so the rate of photosynthesis will increase, right? And the bubble production will be more. Hydrogen carbonate here is a source of carbon dioxide, is providing carbon dioxide for the photosynthesis. Okay, if we are increasing that, so the rate of carbon dioxide, like the rate of photosynthesis will be high and the carbon dioxide production will be more. Okay, now if the photosynthesis rate of photosynthesis is high, so it means the number of bubble produce production will be high. It means more oxygen will produce. Okay, now let's move toward the questions. That what are the questions with us? The first thing is explain why the student. So no, like there is some problem to some student where we are going to revise. Let me just wait. What's the problem here? I will unmute one of you so that I know that all of you are here with me. Hussein Mansoor, you are listening? Hussein Mansoor? Hussein Mansoor? Hussein Mansoor? Hussein Mansoor? Hello, Hussein? Abdul Wasi, you can listen me? Abdul Wasi?
Yes.
You can listen me, right?
Yes.
And the screen is okay for you?
No,
So you cannot see the screen?
it's blurred.
Huh?
It's blurred.
You cannot see the screen or no? Hello?
Sir, I can see, but it's blurred.
Like you can see, but there is some slides or no? Hello? Fatma? Hello, Fatma Naveed? Hello? Fatma Naveed? Give me response that everything is okay with you. Hello? It's okay? All right. Screen is okay with our light. Okay, all right, good. All right, so the screen is okay with also. Let me move toward the lecture, okay? So the beaker of water and the thermometer, right? So explain why the student included the following apparatus. So why he included the following apparatus, I told you already, so that it's maintain the temperature. We know for the enzyme activity, it need a specific temperature, okay? So for the maintenance of temperature, they use water bath, and that water bath contain what? Water, okay? So by that, like it's the beaker act is a water bath to maintain the temperature, okay? Now another question we have, why we use the thermometer? So thermometer we use to measure the temperature. Forward. Thermometer we use to measure the temperature. Second, the light meter and the ruler. Why we use the light meter? It's maintain constant light, and light meter to measure the light intensity and control the light intensity, because here we are investigation. We are investigating carbon dioxide. So we are not in, so that's why we should keep the light intensity same. We should measure it like we should, the light intensity should be same. Second is ruler to measure the distance, okay? The distance should be also same. That's why we keeping here the ruler, so that that may not affect the hello. Okay, so that it may not affect the experiment, okay? Now move toward the another slide. Now come toward this point. The result obtained by the students are shown. So if you see here, is the carbon dioxide concentration is increasing. So what is happening here is the carbon dioxide concentration is increasing. The rate of photosynthesis is high. right? But a point come here like 0.40, right? At this point, the rate of photosynthesis become constant. It means at y, the rate of photosynthesis become constant, while at x, it's still increasing. It is x, it is still increasing. Okay, so it's still increasing. The rate of photosynthesis is still increasing here at x, but when it reach to 0.4, so the rate of photosynthesis become constant, right? Now a question here is that why at x point the rate of photosynthesis is like it is increasing, and why at y point it become constant? So you know, here at x point the rate limiting factor is carbon dioxide. Because of that reason, here the limiting factor is carbon dioxide. So because of that, there is too much carbon dioxide, so the rate of photosynthesis is high. But still there is carbon dioxide, but a point come with us like 0.4, it become constant. So it means that the carbon dioxide where we have still, but the rate become constant. Maybe the reason for this is maybe there is no anymore, like there is no anymore like something other limiting factor, like maybe some like light intensity, maybe temperature. Because of that the rate become constant. We have carbon dioxide, but other limiting factor are not there, so because of that reason the rate become constant. While at x point there is no any rate limiting factor, but at y the carbon dioxide is not rate limiting factor, maybe light intensity, maybe temperature. Because of that the graph become constant, and the rate of photosynthesis is not increasing further. Okay, now move toward another slide. Now you will like describe the student result. So here you have to describe the student result, that what is going on. So I describe with you already. So I described with you the student result already. So by this way, you have to describe the result. Okay. So by this way, you can like you can describe your result by this way. Like at x there is more carbon dioxide. Y there is carbon dioxide is not rate limiting factor. The other factor may be right light intensity and temperature. Okay. Now you just check the slide. Okay, so the another one is this is that description. Rate of photosynthesis increasing is carbon dioxide increasing, percentage increase and then level up. Increase to 0.40 and then the rate become constant. Up to 0.1% slow increase. If you see the graph, there was little bit like the increase was slow up to 0.1%. But after that, it increased further. Okay, means the rate becomes steepy. Now another question we have, I discussed already, that's why I'm going fastly in these questions. Okay, state the factor that is limiting the rate of photosynthesis is x. Okay, so at x the limiting factor was carbon dioxide, right? At x point the limiting factor with us was carbon dioxide. So is the carbon dioxide were increasing, so the rate of photosynthesis was increasing. Suggest and explain the reason for the shape of the graph in region Y. So I discussed with you this point also. Carbon dioxide is no longer limiting factor. Limiting factor may be light intensity. Is the light provide energy for photosynthesis? Limiting factor may be temperature, right? Because you know, like specific temperature needed for any chemical reaction. So the limiting factor may be temperature, okay, and the optimum temperature needed for the enzyme activity, okay, and maybe the number of chloroplast, or maybe the number of leaves, maybe these thing may be not enough. That's why our graph become constant. It is not increasing. The reaction is like here, it's a peak, it's not further increasing, because one of the factor may be missing because of that. But then no carbon dioxide is limiting factor, because if you see in the graph, the carbon dioxide is increasing. Okay, now look toward here, suggest and explain one alter, like counting bubble may not be the best way to measure the rate of photosynthesis. The volume of bubble is not always exactly the same. Suggest and explain one alternative way of measuring that. So use inverted graduated tube. You can use inverted graduated tube, like here they use it, this inverted tube. So definitely if oxygen is producing, so what will happen, that will replace the water and it will be here. You just look toward here, it will be here. So how, if it's replace more water, it means more carbon dioxide collected here. If you are increasing the rate, if you are increasing like the rate, if the photosynthesis is increasing, so more oxygen will be like collected here. Okay, measure the volume of gas collected, right? Second, we can also use the gas syringe. Definitely if the oxygen is more, I'm using here this gas syringe, right? So this piston will move more and more, like it will, because of the gas it will move more out, and here this place with us will be more, and we can measure from this place. Okay, so we can use gas syringe, we can use an inverted graduated tube. Okay, now if I tell you here, let's suppose this is just experiment. How does the light intensity affect the rate of photosynthesis? So definitely if we are increasing the light intensity, so the rate of photosynthesis will increasing. Let's see, the bubble are producing here, right? Is the light intensity is increasing, and the piston of the syringe is moving like out, like here the space here, you see here the space is creating. Why? Because of the bubble, like because of the gas production. See the rate of it maximum, like it high light intensity, the rate of photosynthesis is high and the piston is going back. So we can use the gas syringe here to measure how much oxygen we collected here. Once again, see, is the light intensity is now less, right? So now it's not light, no light there, no photosynthesis. Now I'm increasing the light intensity, the piston is going back in the space or creating here, right? Okay, why? Because of production of oxygen here. I think it's clear to all. Now, the carbon dioxide and photosynthesis, what is the, like carbon dioxide is the raw material for the photosynthesis. How will changing the level of carbon dioxide affect the rate of photosynthesis? So definitely, if you just look at here to the graph, stage one, increasing carbon dioxide concentration, carbon dioxide level in the air around the plant, increasing the carbon dioxide is the, like look at here, is we are increasing the carbon dioxide, the rate of photosynthesis is increasing. Why? Because here is the carbon dioxide limiting factor in this region, but later on the graph become constant. Now adding more carbon dioxide has no effect on the rate of photosynthesis. Why? If I'm adding more carbon dioxide, no effect on the rate of photosynthesis, because temperature or light is now the limiting factor. Okay, if you want to see it once again, just look it here. Now step one, carbon dioxide increasing rate of photosynthesis is high. Now it's level up, right? Okay, yeah, you know, like I just want to tell you that what are the limiting factors. Okay, I'm explaining that point to you, that what are the effect of that. Okay, now this finish. Okay, so this is also general. I want to discuss with you, the availability of light can also act as a limiting factor for the photosynthesis. This is the general thing I'm explaining with you, like some student was facing problem in the remitting factors. So is the amount of light increasing, so does the rate of photosynthesis is increasing, right? But now here at this point, light intensity is not a limiting factor. Maybe something like maybe temperature or maybe carbon dioxide is limiting factor. That's why here the graph become constant. Okay. Now, how does the temperature affect the rate of photosynthesis? So if I'm increasing the photosynthesis, so what will happen? See, yeah, at this point now, up to here is the temperature increasing, so the rate of photosynthesis is increasing because we know the temperature increase the kinetic energy of the molecule, right? So there is more collision between enzyme and substrate. But later on, like enzyme need optimum temperature. If we are going above that, the enzyme will denature. So at this point, the rate of photosynthesis, like the photosynthesis, not anymore there because of denaturation of enzyme. Okay, so this question clear now? And now, you know, this is another question, as I discussed with you already. Is the carbon dioxide, look toward the graph, is the carbon dioxide concentrated like in the atmosphere with the passage of time, with passage of years, the carbon dioxide increase gradually. So what should be the reason for it? The first thing is explain why the concentration of carbon dioxide is increased between 1959 and 2013. So maybe the people are burning fossil fuel because of increased demand for energy, and because of burning of fossil fuel, carbon dioxide will produce. Second, carbon dioxide from the volcano. And third one, deforestation. We know like plants need carbon carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. If we are cutting the plant, so definitely the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere will be increasing because of no plant, like because of no plant, so they will not absorb the carbon dioxide. Second, burning of forest, right? Burning of forest, like if we are for definitely if burning process happen, they will also produce carbon dioxide. And now another thing is explain how increase in atmosphere carbon dioxide concentration contribute to global warming. So definitely if carbon dioxide is more, carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. If a carbon dioxide is more, so what will happen? It will be like, it will be deposit out up and will make a blanket of gas. And with along with that, other gases will come, and that other gases with carbon dioxide, these are called greenhouse gases. Okay, now I will show you, don't worry, explain. So if it is more, so what will happen? Just come toward this, look at here. So from up, what is coming? Sunlight is coming to us, to the earth, right? Now the sunlight, when it is coming, the wavelength is short, but when it is going back, it's lost the energy. Now the wavelength is high. Now this is the blanket of different gases, like this is a layer of different gases. One of them is carbon dioxide. Because of that, if carbon dioxide is increasing, so this layer of gas will be more. It will be thick, and it will not allow this long wavelength rays to go back to out atmosphere. So it will remain here with like near to our earth's surface, and this place will become like it, that will lead to global warming. Global warming means the temperature will increase, of the earth temperature will increase. Is it clear? So the explanation of that question is that, okay, now I discussed this already in the last lecture. So now I will move toward another lecture, another question, the one that we have to discuss it now. This question I discussed it already in the last lesson. I know it was okay. Now I will move toward question number 4. A biologist made a slide of some epidermal cells from a scale leaf of onion bulb. Figure 4.1 is a drawing that the biologist made of one of the cell. Okay. Now this is a cell with us, and if you see here, like this cell, this is a plant cell. Okay. So this is covered by definitely it should be covered by cell wall, cell membrane. Okay. right? And one of that is this is a nucleus, so like because inside the nucleus there is nucleolus, right? So C with us is nucleus. If we move toward D, so definitely H sub should be with us cytoplasm, and A with us is cell wall. So let me see what are the question they asking from us. First we will move toward the question. So what is the part of the cell that like that resists to the trigger pressure of this cell? Okay. Second, control the who control the activity, which part of the cell control the activity of the cell. And third one is site of chemical reaction of the cell, including photosynthesis. Like what are the site of the cell where they are controlling all the chemical reaction of photosynthesis. So if you come toward here, so first I will come toward the A. You know, like plant cell is covered by a cell wall. It is surrounded by cell wall, and cell wall is very like it's very hard. So it give resistance to that. So it's provide resistance to trigger pressure. Say if the like inside the cell there is more water and the vacuole is turgid, so this it will push the cell membrane to the cell membrane will push toward the cell wall, and cell wall will keep like it will resist to that trigger pressure. While this part is cytoplasm, and the site, you know, like in the cytoplasm different organelles are present, okay. And different like protein synthesis, you know, like here is ribosome, here is mitochondria. So all these chemical reaction happening like energy production, protein synthesis, all that happening in the cytoplasm, because cytoplasm contain what, you know, like mitochondria for the energy, ribosome for the protein production, right? If you see here, this is the cell nucleus. It's, you know, like cell content, like nucleus contain DNA, and DNA control all the activity of the cell. So now you can check it here. Just study the slide, please. Okay, now let's move toward another slide. The biologist added a few drop of concentrated salt solution to the cell on a slide, and to a photograph of the cell is shown. Like what he did that epidermal layer of the onion, and now he added few drop of concentrated salt solution to the cells. So definitely if he added concentrated salt solution, so inside the cell is compared to like outside, inside the cell the environment is like the water potential is very high. Water potential means the amount of water is very high is compared to outside, because outside the solution is concentrated. And we know what is happening in osmosis. The water will move from in to out. The water will move from higher water potential to out toward the concentrated salt solution, right? Why? Because outside you added drop of concentrated salt solution. So in drop of concentrated salt solution, the water amount is less as compared to inside the cell. So the water will move from region of like higher water potential to lower water potential. Outside the water will come outside, and the cell membrane will like it will like plasmolysis, the breaking down of the cell membrane will happen, and the cell membrane will not push toward the like, because the vacuole lost the water here, so it will not push toward the cell wall. So if you can see here, this all like plasmolysis happen with us, right? Now, describe the effect on the plant cell of adding concentrated salt solution. So definitely plant cell will shrink because it lost the water, it will lost their turgidity, water will move outside, and the plasma membrane will not, the vacuole will not push the plasma membrane toward the cell wall, okay? So the process is called plasmolysis. It means plasmolysis will happen. Now, second question, we have used the term water potential to explain the effect you have described. So water potential is actually the relative amount of water in a solution. Let's suppose if I have a dilute solution, so it means the water potential of that solution is more is compared to concentrated solution. Concentrated solution is the solution that contain more salt. So the water, if water will move always from higher water potential to lower water potential. Is it clear? You can see here. Still lost water, like come toward this question, describe the effect on plant cell of adding concentrates or solution. So cell will lose the water, cytoplasm and vacuole will decrease in size, plasmolysis will happen, and cell is not turgid, and cell will not no longer push outward, okay, because of no turgidity. Second question is water potential, explain the effect you have described. Okay, like what is water potential? So salt solution is lower water potential than the cell. Cell lost water by osmosis from higher water potential to lower water potential. Water will move from higher water potential to lower water potential. It means that the water will move from dilute solution to concentrated solution. Okay, now it's osmosis, so the water is moving through partially permeable membrane. You can study the slide, please. Okay, all right. Now let's move toward another question. Explain what is meant by double circulatory system. So we know double circulatory system is actually the system, like, you know, in our, when blood is moving in our body. So let's suppose I consider one of the cell in my like in my lungs. So if it is coming back to the lungs, so for example, it go from the lung and it enter through pulmonary vein, it enter to the heart, and then it will go back through aorta, it will circulate in the whole body, and then it will come again through vena cava to the heart, and then it will reach to the lungs through pulmonary artery. Now is it is coming back toward that position. So what happened here? The blood passes approximately, the blood passes 2 times when it is completing one circuit, one complete circuit. So that is called double circulatory system. Now we have question here, the first question here. Yeah, so blood travel through the heart twice in one complete circuit. So this is what double circulatory system. Now complete some of the main organ in a mammals and the vessel that deliver blood take it away, right? So the first question is heart. Blood vessel that deliver blood to the heart, and blood vessel that take away blood from the heart. So I will go to this slide. If you see here, the blood vessel this deliver blood to the heart. So what is it? This one is coming from the lungs and coming to the heart. So it should be what? Pulmonary vein, right? So pulmonary vein is taking oxygenated blood from the lung and it is entering to the heart. So this one with us is mean the blood vessel that deliver blood to the heart is pulmonary vein. Now if you come to world, and I am searching for another blood vessel that is like that will deliver the blood to the heart. If you come toward this arrow, so this arrow, what he's doing is like he's delivering the blood to the heart. This arrow with us is what? Vena cava. So vena cava deliver the blood to the heart, right? Now another question we have, the blood vessel that take away the blood from the heart. So come toward this arrow. This arrow means this blood vessel is taking the blood away from the heart. So what should be it with us? It's pulmonary artery. Why pulmonary artery? Because pulmonary artery taking deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs. Is it clear? Now another vessel I am searching for that are taking the blood away from the, like it's taking the blood away from the heart. So what should be with us? That should be aorta, right? So if you come toward this ratio, this arrow, so this is like, you know, when the blood come to the heart, uh, and then from the ventricle it go to aorta to like the blood will enter to aorta, and then aorta will divide to different arteries and arteriole. So this arrow is taking blood away from that, it means it should be aorta, right? Now another question I have, if I move toward it, so let me move back toward the slide. Deliver blood. So pulmonary artery, like it's related with lungs, so pulmonary artery, so definitely pulmonary artery will deliver oxygenated blood to lung, while the blood vessel that take away blood from the lung, so deoxygenated blood will take by pulmonary vein. Come toward this again, look at here, like, is it clear? So pulmonary, yeah, sorry, pulmonary actually, you know, like deliver blood to the lungs. So what is that? The one that is delivering blood to the lungs, right? So it is pulmonary artery, and pulmonary artery actually taking deoxygenated blood. Sorry, here if you deliver blood to the lungs, right? So pulmonary artery taking deoxy deoxygenated blood from the heart and taking to, like, it is entering to the lungs, right? Pulmonary artery, while pulmonary veins taking away the blood from the lungs, right? So come toward this picture once again, look at here, this is pulmonary artery, it is taking deoxygenated blood from the lung, from the heart to lung, right? While pulmonary vein, it is taking the blood, like it is oxygenated and coming back to the heart. So it is taking away from the lung. So it should be pulmonary vein. Is it clear? Now we have liver, right? So if you see here, like liver, it's connected by a blood vessel. Okay, two questions we have here in the liver. First one is deliver blood. Deliver blood, it means the blood that is entering, which is the blood vessel that deliver the blood to the liver, right? So what should be it? Okay, and another we have take blood away, take blood away. So one they mentioned to us already, hepatic portal vein they mentioned to us, while the another one should be hepatic artery. Hepatic artery actually deliver the blood to hepatic artery. Actually this one, you come toward this picture, this one with us is hepatic artery. Look at here, hepatic artery, this one bringing oxygenated blood to the liver, so it is hepatic artery. While another one we have that is bringing the blood, so from the gut to the liver, so this blood vessel with us is what? This is hepatic portal vein, right? So this is hepatic portal vein, this one. So it's taking the blood from the gut to the liver. Okay, so our answer should be this. While the one that is taking away blood from the liver, so it should be hepatic. Hepatic vein. Okay, because now the blood is deoxygenated, so it is taking away from the liver. Okay. Now next one we have a kidney, right? So in kidney, like which one will take the blood to the kidney? So definitely it will be like the one, it will break the blood, it will be renal artery. Renal artery, like it's containing oxygenated blood, so that will enter to the kidney, while the one that taking away the blood, it will be renal vein. This is deoxygenated blood. Okay, so the renal word is specific for the kidney, so renal artery is carrying the blood to the kidney while it is taking away through renal vein. If renal artery bring the blood, so that will enter to the kidney and it will lose oxygen, and then after that the renal vein will take deoxygenated blood, it will go toward the heart, right? And then after that it will enter to the lung for oxygenation. You can check the diagram, please. Study the slides. All right. Now let's move toward another question. Table 5.2 show the blood pressure and different blood vessels that supply and drain a muscle and the leg, right? So, like these are blood vessel, aorta, femoral artery, muscular artery, arteriole, capillaries, and venules, and femoral vein. The table shows that the mean blood pressure decreased from 13 kilopascal and the aorta to 6 kPa in the arteriole. So if you see here in aorta the pressure is high, but in arteriole the pressure it decreased. So now the reason, what are the reason, like why, how this blood the pressure decreasing? Explain why the blood pressure must decrease in the arteriole before entering to the capillaries. Initially it was 13, but now it is 6. So what are the reasons due to that? Because of that, the pressure is decreasing. Like capillary is 1 cell thick, okay? So before entering the blood, it passes through arteriole. So before entering the blood to capillaries, it's passing through arterioles. And the arteriole, like gradually the blood should lose, like for example, blood heart pump the blood to the aorta. So gradually when it is circulating on our body, it's losing pressure, because like if the pressure is not decreasing, the capillaries once stuck there, so it means it is very thin, so there is loss of bursting of capillaries. For that reason the pressure should be decreased. High pressure would burst capillaries. Capillaries are thin, and right, it is 1 cell thick, so the pressure should be decreased. If the blood enter to, like if enter through, like by high blood pressure at here 13 kPa mentioned, so if it's entered to this pressure, maybe the capillary burst. Due to that reason it should be decreased. All right, now explain how the blood return to the heart in the femoral vein against the pull up gravity. Like from the legs, how this, like definitely how the blood is coming to the heart, and after that it will go to the lungs. It's a question, right? Like if the blood is should come off, like how it is coming, because there is a gravity, so it's supposed to go down, but no, it is not going down. So what are the reason of that? The first reason is contraction of muscle in the legs, right? We are like our legs muscle is contracting, and that is pushing the blood up. And second one, there is also valves in that veins, right? So that valves also ensure the blood flow toward the heart. It means that valves prevent the backflow of the blood. Is it clear? You can study, please. All right, so this is another question with us. Show a section across the part of artery. So explain how the structure of artery is related to its function. So before explaining this, I will explain this artery and vein and capillaries, right? Like artery, if you see here, it's like it's have an outer wall of artery is thick. Second, if you see here, vein is thin. Second, the artery having small lumen, while the vein having large lumen. Is it clear? Here, thick wall of muscular and elastic fiber. Here is the muscular wall is thick. Here it is thin. Elastic fiber is also less as compared to artery. So this is the difference between these two. Now our question is related with artery. So what are the adaptation of this artery? Like why it is like this? Why it having thick wall? Why having small lumen? And why it having a more thick layer of muscle? This is our question. So here, like thick wall, thick wall of this artery, it actually withstand the pressure, like it, like the blood is pushing from the heart, right? And it will enter to the artery. So when it is entering to the artery, it means the blood pressure is high. So that artery is supposed to have a thick wall so that it withstand the high blood pressure. Now it's having small lumen, right? It's having a small lumen so that it maintain the blood pressure, so that the blood pressure may not decrease. So it maintain the blood pressure. Because of that, they're having a small lumen. If it's having a big lumen, so like a large lumen, so the blood will not move it like a high speed, right? Another one is thick layer of muscle and elastic fiber. So thick layer of muscle, it's also help in like vasoconstriction and vasodilation, and elastic fiber so that it stretch and recoil the blood vessel. You know, like here the blood is moving at high pressure. You can study here, please. Thick wall withstand blood pressure, okay. Muscular tissue itself and the vasoconstriction and vasodilation. Elastic tissue is stretched and recoil to maintain the blood, and they're having small lumen that maintain the blood pressure. Is it clear? Now move to our last question. This is related, yeah, with ecosystem. Most Alice's Americanus shows in figure 6.1 are large herbivore that primarily live in north part of the North America. They have a varied diet that includes young shoot of willow trees and aquatic plants. Now come toward this point. It is herbivore. It means if most animal is herbivore, it means it is primary consumer. Why? Because herbivores, those animals that feed on grass, that eating plants. Now, which plants, like which shoots, especially young shoot of willow trees, they are eating. So here the willow tree is producer. Producer are those plants, like producer are those organisms that produce, they do photosynthesis. So with us, it is a willow tree. So willow tree, in this we have the producer. Isla Royale is a large island and lake superior in the United States, where there is a population of moose that is being studied by ecologists for a long time. The animal's only predator is the wolf. The animal's only predator is the wolf, and the Iceland has a population of wolves that has changed in number over the years. Now, the animals only, like the only predator for this animal is wolf, right? So it should be what, like it should be secondary consumer here. Now, they mention as a question, draw a food chain for the organism and the passage above. So the food chain, I told you already, that willow tree is a producer. They are doing photosynthesis plant, and it is eaten by most animal, right? And then for this animal, we have a predator that's attack on the moose, right? So if it's like moose is eating willow tree, so willow tree is a producer and it is a primary consumer, right? While the one that is eating primary consumer, so with us it is wolf, right? You can see willow tree is producer, primary consumer, and secondary consumer. Okay, it means the willow tree is eating by mouse while the wolf eating the mouse. Okay. Now here the question I already discussed with you. By stating the name and identify the trophic level of each organism and the food chain. The trophic level means like it is producer, primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer. What is their feeding level? Trophic level is actually the feeding level of an organism. So here I discussed with you already. So the first one we have willow tree, it's a producer, right? So the trophic level of it is producer. Moss is a primary consumer, and wolf, it is a secondary consumer. I think it is clear now. Okay, now let me move toward another question. Okay, now so this is, oh sorry, state two factors that influence the number of top predators such as wolf. You know, like the wolf, it's a top predator. Its number will be less is compared to the down. Like means value tree will be more. You know what are the reason for it? So there are different factors. You know, like when one animal is eating another, so the energy is going from from lower tropic level to higher tropic level. So here the loss of energy here, sorry, here, like see, when it is going from one level to another, so there will be more competition for food and water supply, right? Second one, we have disease, like disease on disease can also affect the number of top predator. Third one is hunting. You know, like here the wolf, they are asking about the wolf, why their number like decreasing. So maybe they're having more competition, right? Because the food source energy is less, is drop up top level, right? And maybe because of disease is also one of the factor that can influence the number of top predator here in this question. Another one we have hunting. Maybe they're like hunter are killing them, so that's why the number of fall is decreasing. Okay, pollution is also one of the factor. Because of that, it is a very toxic. Because of that, death of an organism can happen. Okay, now we have this question, and the 1970, the American ecologist Paul Kolynevacs investigated the energy flow between moss and walls. His result is summarized in figure table 6.2, right? So look at here, like how energy input or output or energy flow, like how much energy consumed by moss, okay? And through respiration, okay? Like consumed by how much by moss through respiration, consumed by wall, and respiration of wall. So this energy is given to you. Now our question is, calculate the percentage of the energy obtained by moss that is consumed by wall, right? So it means you come toward this. How much energy consumed by wall is 56000, right? This energy consumed by wall. Now the energy total consumed by moss is this one, right? Now what is the question? What is the percentage of the energy consumed by wall and overall energy consumed by moss? So it is a simple, like we will divide this whole energy and then we will divide by the total energy consumed by moss, okay? And then multiply, like to take percentage, definitely we have to multiply it with 100 so that it will give you 1.3%. Is it okay? So now explain why the number of wall and Ashley Royala has never risen above 50, while the highest number of most recorded is 2450. No, it means, like I told you already, that at tropic level, the number is like high tropic level, the number of an organism will decrease because of less availability of energy. Is it move from lower to higher, is the food is transferring from lower tropic level to higher, so energy, like energy losses happen in, like in the form of respiration, like movement. So there is no enough energy for the high tropic level. So look at here, energy is lost between within tropic level. That energy, for example, primary consumer take it, right? Like he feed on the producer. So when it is going toward a secondary consumer, so the energy will be less. The secondary consumer, the food will be less, the energy will be less for him. Why? You know, like most of the energy lost in respiration is heat and metabolism. Like for example, secondary consumer feed on primary consumer, so primary consumer having a lot of energy because it is feeding on the producer. But For the secondary consumer is feeding on primary. So the energy availability is compared to primary, it is less for the secondary consumer, because most of the energy loss in the form of heat and the farm energy used in maintaining body temperature of that primary consumer. And second, the primary consumer also lost the energy, he's moving, right, moving, muscle contraction, okay, and some energy loss in the form of like some food not eaten, like not eaten, yeah, the food that's not digested and is passed out and feces, are like energy lost in excretion, urine, in the form of urine. So all these factors contribute to that at higher level the energy is less, high tropic level energy is less is compared to low tropic level. That's why the number at higher tropic level is less. I think all of you is clear. Okay, so this was the paper that I discussed. You can solve it at home. Okay, now if you having any question, I will take one by one. You just raise your hand. I will give your answer.